You're so good with your tongue, she whispers, eyes locked on my lips. My mind goes blank. The cafe fades. Did she really just say that? I can't breathe, can't think, can't even remember my own name. Then she smiles, that dangerous smile, and I realize she knows exactly what she did to me. Before we continue, please, like this video, subscribe, and let me know where you are watching from. My coffee cup sits frozen halfway to my mouth. The steam rises between us like a question I don't know how to answer. Tessa leans back in her chair, watching me fall apart with those green eyes that seem to catch every secret I try to hide. She's wearing all black today, a silky top that moves when she breathes. Her perfume smells like vanilla and oranges. It makes the small cafe table between us feel like nothing at all, like she could reach over and touch my face if she wanted to. Noah, she says, tilting her head. My name sounds different when she says it. Softer, like she's tasting it on her tongue before letting it go. You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. I clear my throat. Try to remember how words work. I'm fine, I manage, but my voice comes out rough, like I haven't used it in hours. Just, what you said. She laughs. It's a warm sound that fills up all the empty spaces in my chest. About your tongue? She bites her bottom lip, fighting back a grin. I meant it. The way you roll those Spanish words. It's like music. Right, Spanish. We're here for Spanish lessons. I'm her speech coach. She's learning tongue twisters for some work thing. That's why we're sitting in this cozy corner of Sage and Steam Cafe. That's why she asked me to help her sound more confident. But the way she's looking at me now has nothing to do with work. Nothing to do with pronunciation or practice. Her eyes are dancing with something that makes my heart beat faster. Something that makes me forget all my rules about staying professional. The rain taps against the window beside us. Other people drink their coffee and chat about normal things. But at our little table, the air feels thick, electric, like right before lightning strikes and lights up the whole sky. Say it again, she whispers, leaning forward. Her hand moves across the table, fingers almost touching mine. That Spanish phrase you taught me, the one about the sad tigers. My mouth feels dry. Tres tristes tigres. Slower, she breathes. Her eyes never leave my lips. I want to hear every sound you make. I swallow hard. This is how it started 30 minutes ago. Just me helping her practice. Just innocent language lessons over coffee. But somehow, somewhere between the rolling R's and her soft laughter, everything changed. The student became the teacher. The teacher became the student. Now I'm drowning in green eyes and vanilla perfume, and I have no idea how to swim back to shore. 30 minutes earlier, I walk into Sage and Steam with my usual Tuesday routine. Order a double espresso. Find my favorite corner table. Open my notebook full of speech exercises I use with clients who want to sound more confident at work. I'm checking emails when she appears. Tessa slides into the chair across from me like she owns the place. Her smile is bright and a little bit dangerous. You must be Noah, she says. Emma told me you're the guy who can fix anyone's voice. Fix is a strong word, I laugh, closing my laptop. I help people speak more clearly. Emma said you need help with pronunciation for a work presentation. She nods, but her eyes are already doing something that makes me nervous. They're studying my face like I'm a puzzle she wants to solve. I have this big charity event on Friday, public speaking competition. Winner gets to donate $5,000 to their favorite cause. That's nice, I say, pulling out my pen. What kind of pronunciation issues are we dealing with? Specific sounds that give you trouble? Everything, she laughs, throwing her hands up. When I get nervous, my tongue ties itself in knots. I trip over words. I sound like I'm reading from a textbook instead of speaking from my heart. I write down some notes. Try to stay professional even though her laugh does something funny to my chest. We can work on that. Breathing exercises, tongue position, rhythm patterns. It's mostly about confidence and muscle memory. She orders a latte with extra foam, crosses her legs under the table. Her boot starts a soft tapping rhythm against the floor. So, how does this work? Do you have magic words that make people sound sexy when they speak? The word sexy hangs between us for a second too long. I clear my throat. I wouldn't call it magic, more like training. Athletes train their bodies. We train your voice and mouth muscles. Mouth muscles, she repeats, grinning. I like that better than magic. I slide my practice sheet across the table. Simple warm-up exercises, basic tongue twisters. Nothing too complicated for a first session. Let's start with some easy ones. Red leather, yellow leather. Say that 5 times fast. She tries it, stumbles on the 3rd repetition, laughs at herself without any shame. This is harder than it looks. Most people expect it to be easy, I tell her, but your tongue is a muscle. It needs practice to move the right way. My tongue needs practice, she says, eyes sparkling. Good thing I found a teacher who knows what he's doing. There's something in her voice that makes me look up from my notes. She's watching me with this expression that's half innocent, half trouble, like she's testing how far she can push before I notice what she's doing. Let's try something else, I say quickly. Toy boat. Just repeat that 10 times, getting faster each time. She does better with this one. Her voice gets smoother as she finds the rhythm. I watch her lips form the words, notice how she licks them when she concentrates. Professional observation, I tell myself. Nothing more. Better, I say. You're getting the hang of it. I'm a fast learner when I like my teacher, she says, leaning forward on her elbows. What else can you teach me? The way she says, teach me, makes my pen slip on the paper. I look up, and she's closer now. Close enough that I can smell her perfume. Close enough to see the tiny gold flecks in her green eyes. Spanish, I hear myself say. Spanish has great exercises for tongue flexibility. Spanish sounds perfect, she whispers. I love the way it rolls off your tongue. I write down a simple phrase, push the paper toward her. Tres tristes tigres, 3 sad tigers. The R's are the tricky part. She tries it first. Her pronunciation is terrible, but she laughs and tries again. Show me, she says. Let me hear how it's supposed to sound. I lean closer. Speak slowly so she can hear each sound clearly. Tres tristes tigres, tragaban trigo en tres tristes trastos. Her eyes drop to my mouth. Stay there while I repeat the phrase. The cafe noise fades into background music. All I can hear is my own voice and her quiet breathing. Again, she says softly. I repeat it. Watch her watch me. Feel something shift between us like the air pressure changing before a storm. This isn't just about speech coaching anymore. We both know it. Your turn, I say, but my voice sounds different now. Lower, rougher around the edges. She tries the phrase. Better this time, but still not perfect. I start to correct her, then stop. She's not really listening to my feedback. She's still staring at my mouth like she's memorizing every movement. You make it look so easy, she murmurs. The way your tongue moves, it's like watching an artist paint. Heat climbs up my neck. I've been a speech coach for 5 years. I've worked with hundreds of clients. Nobody has ever made pronunciation sound so intimate. It's just practice, I manage. Practice makes perfect, she agrees. But the way she says it doesn't sound like she's talking about Spanish anymore. The barista calls out another order. Someone laughs at the table behind us. Normal cafe sounds that remind me we're in public, that I'm supposed to be professional. But when I look back at Tessa, she's still watching me with those eyes that seem to see right through my carefully built walls. Still smiling that smile that promises trouble. "One more time," she says. "I want to hear you say it perfectly." I take a breath, meet her gaze, let the Spanish roll off my tongue slow and clear. Tres tristes tigres, tragaban trigo en tres tristes trastos. She bites her lip, closes her eyes for just a second, like she's savoring the sound. When she opens them again, they're bright with something that makes my heart race. That's when she leans across the table, gets close enough that her breath touches my cheek, close enough that her next words land like a match on kindling. Hit that like button if you're already feeling the chemistry. "You're so good with your tongue." The words hang in the air between us like smoke. I can't move, can't think, can't do anything but stare at her lips and wonder if she meant to sound so. "Noah?" Her voice is softer now, gentle, like she can see how her words affected me. "I meant with languages, the way you speak Spanish. It's beautiful." I nod, still frozen, still trying to get my brain to work again. The cafe feels too warm suddenly, too small, like the walls moved closer when I wasn't looking. She reaches for her latte. Her fingers brush mine as she picks up the cup. Just a tiny touch, but it sends electricity shooting up my arm. She notices. I can tell by the way her breath catches. "Should we try Irish wristwatch now?" I ask, flipping to a new page in my notebook. My hand shakes slightly as I write. It's one of the hardest tongue twisters in English. "Irish wristwatch," she repeats slowly. Gets it wrong on the first try. Her tongue trips over the sounds, turns it into something that makes us both laugh. "Let me show you," I say, leaning closer. Close enough to see the tiny freckles across her nose, close enough to smell vanilla and citrus in her hair. "Irish wristwatch. The trick is keeping your tongue loose." She tries again, better this time, but still struggling. I watch her mouth form the words. Watch her concentrate with that little line between her eyebrows that appears when she's thinking hard. "Your tongue is too tense," I tell her. "Relax it. Let it flow with the sounds instead of fighting them." "How do I relax my tongue?" she asks, grinning. "That's not exactly something they teach you in school." Before I can answer, a shadow falls across our table. I look up to see a man in an expensive suit standing beside us. Tall, confident, with the kind of smile that says he's used to getting what he wants. "Tess," he says, like he owns her name. His eyes sweep over our table, taking in the notebooks, the coffee cups, the way we're sitting so close together. "I didn't expect to find you here." Tessa's whole body changes. Her shoulders get straighter. Her smile becomes polite but distant. "Connor. Hi." She doesn't sound happy to see him. "This is Noah, my speech coach." Connor extends his hand. His grip is firm, maybe a little too firm, like he's making a point. "The speech coach. Right. Emma mentioned you were getting help for Friday's presentation." "Actually, it's a competition," Tessa corrects. Her voice has an edge now. "And we're in the middle of a lesson." "Of course," Connor says, but he doesn't move away. Instead, he pulls out the empty chair next to Tessa and sits down. Makes himself at home like he belongs here. "Don't let me interrupt. I'll just wait." The air at our table goes cold. All the warmth and laughter from before disappears like someone opened a window in winter. I can see Tessa's jaw tighten, can see her fingers grip her coffee cup a little too hard. "Actually, Connor," she says carefully, "Noah and I booked this time to work. We need to focus if I'm going to be ready by Friday." Connor's smile doesn't reach his eyes. "Right. The big charity competition. You know, if you win, you should donate to the literacy program I'm sponsoring. Great cause. Looks good for the company, too." "I'll donate wherever I want," Tessa says quietly. But there's steel in her voice now, a warning that Connor either doesn't hear or chooses to ignore. "Of course," he says again. Then he turns to me with that fake smile. "So Noah, how long have you been teaching Tess?" "This is our first session," I answer honestly. But something about the way he says her name makes my teeth clench, like he's marking territory. "First session," Connor repeats, looking between us, taking in how close we're sitting, how intimate our little corner table feels. "Interesting. You two seem pretty comfortable already." Tessa sets down her cup hard enough to make the spoon rattle. "Connor, I need you to leave. Now. Noah and I have work to do." The words cut through the cafe noise like a knife. Other customers glance over. The barista looks up from the espresso machine, but Tessa doesn't back down. She stares at Connor with those green eyes gone hard as glass. Connor's face flushes red. He's not used to being dismissed, especially not in public. "Fine," he says, standing up too fast. The chair scrapes against the floor. "We'll talk later, Tess, about Friday, about the donation, about a lot of things." He walks away without another word. The whole cafe seems to exhale when he's gone. Tessa slumps back in her chair like a balloon losing air. "Sorry," she says quietly. "Office politics. Connor thinks he owns everyone at work, including me." "Does he?" The question comes out before I can stop it. Jealousy makes my voice sharper than I intended. She looks up, surprised. Then something softens in her face. Something that makes my heart beat faster. "No," she says firmly. "He doesn't own me. Nobody does." The way she looks at me when she says it makes heat pool in my chest. Like she's not just talking about Connor. Like she's telling me something important about herself. "Good," I say, and mean it. Her smile comes back slowly. Real this time, not the polite mask she wore for Connor. "Where were we? Irish wristwatch?" "Irish wristwatch," I confirm. But now the space between us feels different, charged. Like Connor's interruption reminded us both that what's happening here matters, that it's worth protecting. She tries the phrase again, still struggles, but she's laughing now. The tension from Connor's visit melts away like ice in warm water. I lean closer to help her, and this time she doesn't pretend it's just about the lesson. "Your mouth needs to move differently," I tell her, watching her lips, softer, more fluid. "Show me again," she whispers. Her hand moves across the table until her fingers brush mine. Not an accident this time. A choice. I demonstrate the sounds, feel her eyes on my mouth like a physical touch. When I finish, she doesn't try to repeat it. Instead, she just watches me with an expression that makes my breath catch. "Irish wristwatch," she finally says, but her voice is distracted, dreamy, like she's thinking about something else entirely. "Better," I manage. My throat feels dry. "Much better." Her thumb traces across my knuckles. Such a small touch, but it sends fire racing through my veins. "I like learning from you," she says softly. "You make everything sound so..." "So what?" She meets my eyes, holds my gaze while her thumb keeps drawing tiny circles on my skin. "Intimate." The word lands between us like a confession, like she's admitting something we both already knew, but were afraid to say out loud. "Tessa." I start, then stop. Because I don't know how to finish that sentence. Don't know how to tell her that I'm thinking the same thing without crossing a line I'm not supposed to cross. "It's okay," she says, reading my hesitation. "I know you have rules about mixing business with pleasure. I respect that." But even as she says it, her fingers keep moving against mine, keep sending little shocks of electricity up my arm that make it hard to remember why those rules exist. "Try another one," I say, desperate to get back on safer ground. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. She laughs at the silly phrase, tries it, and fails completely, turning it into nonsense sounds that make us both crack up. The laughter breaks some of the tension, but not all of it. Underneath, the current still runs between us, strong and steady and impossible to ignore. I'm terrible at this, she says, wiping tears from her eyes. You're not terrible, I tell her. You're learning. There's a difference. Is there? She tilts her head, studying my face. What's the difference between being bad at something and just not knowing how to do it yet? Practice, I say. And a good teacher. I have a good teacher, she says quietly. Her hand covers mine completely now, warm and soft, and exactly where it belongs. The question is whether he's willing to keep teaching me. The double meaning in her words makes my pulse race. She's not talking about speech lessons anymore. We both know it. The question hangs between us like a bridge she's built and is asking if I'm brave enough to cross. I look down at our joined hands, at the way her fingers fit perfectly between mine, at the choice she's offering me with those green eyes that see everything. Subscribe now because things are about to get even more intense. The cafe gets quieter as evening settles in. Other customers pack up their laptops and head home. The barista starts cleaning the espresso machine. Our practice session is supposed to end, but neither of us moves to leave. I think that's enough for today, I say, closing my notebook. But my hand stays under hers. I don't want to break the connection we've built over the last hour. Already? She looks disappointed. I was just getting the hang of those tongue twisters. You were, I agree. You're a natural. With a little more practice, you'll win that competition on Friday. She smiles, but there's something sad in her eyes. What if I don't want the lesson to end? The question hits me right in the chest. I know she's not talking about speech coaching anymore. We've moved far beyond consonants and vowel sounds. We're in territory that makes my heart race and my palms sweat. Tessa, I start, then stop. Because I don't know how to say what I'm feeling without crossing every professional line I've ever drawn. It's okay, she says quickly. I know this is complicated. I know you have rules about clients and mixing business with personal stuff. I get it. But even as she says the words, her thumb traces circles on my wrist. Her touch is gentle, but insistent, like she's trying to memorize the feel of my skin. The barista flips the sign on the door from open to closed. The rain outside gets heavier, drumming against the windows like it's trying to get our attention. We should go, I say, but I don't move. Don't pull my hand away from hers. We should, she agrees, but she doesn't move either. We sit there for another minute, just looking at each other. The cafe empties around us until we're the only customers left. The barista starts stacking chairs on tables, giving us polite looks that say it's time to leave. Okay, Tessa says finally. I guess we really do have to go. She packs her purse slowly. I gather my notebook and pen like they weigh 100 pounds each. We're stalling, and we both know it. Neither of us wants to step outside and end whatever this moment is, but eventually, we run out of things to organize. The barista is waiting by the door with keys in hand. We can't stay any longer. Outside, the rain falls steady and soft. Not a storm, just a gentle shower that makes the streetlights blur and the pavement shine. The cafe's awning gives us shelter for maybe 10 feet. After that, we'll get soaked. I don't have an umbrella, Tessa says, looking up at the sky. Neither do I admit. I can call you a ride if you want. Not yet, she says quietly. I want to talk to you about something first. She turns to face me under the small awning. The neon sign from the cafe paints pink and blue stripes across her face. Her hair is starting to curl from the humidity. She looks nervous for the first time all evening. "What is it?" I ask. She takes a deep breath, looks down at her hands, then back up at me. "I need to be honest with you about something. This whole speech coaching thing, it wasn't really about the competition." My heart stops. "What do you mean?" "I mean, Emma didn't just recommend you randomly. I asked her about you specifically. After your workshop at our office last month, I couldn't stop thinking about you." The confession hangs between us like a held breath. I remember that workshop. Remember seeing her in the back row, taking notes. Remember thinking she was beautiful, but telling myself to stay professional. "Tessa, I know it sounds crazy," she continues, words rushing out now. "I know you probably think I'm some weird stalker who makes up reasons to see you. But I'm not. I really do have a competition on Friday. I really do get nervous speaking in public." She steps closer, close enough that I can see raindrops caught in her eyelashes, close enough that her perfume mixes with the smell of wet pavement and makes my head spin. "But mostly, I just wanted an excuse to spend time with you, to see if what I felt that day at the workshop was real, or just me being silly." My chest feels tight, like I'm holding my breath underwater. "And now? Do you still think you were being silly?" She shakes her head. "No. If anything, it's worse now. Spending this hour with you, the way you look at me when you explain things, the way you laugh at my terrible pronunciation. I like you, Noah. Really like you." The words hit me like lightning, bright and electric and impossible to ignore. All my careful rules about professional boundaries feel small and stupid suddenly, like walls built to keep out sunlight. "I like you too," I hear myself say. The words come out rough and honest. More than I should, more than is smart. Her face lights up. "Really? Really?" I run a hand through my hair, trying to organize my thoughts. "But this is complicated. You're technically still my client until Friday. I have rules about this stuff." "Rules can change," she says softly. She reaches up and touches my cheek with her fingertips. Just a whisper of contact, but it makes me shiver. "People can change too." "Tessa." But I can't finish the sentence. Can't remember why those rules seem so important when her hand is on my face and her eyes are looking at me like I'm the only person in the world. "Tell me you don't feel this," she whispers. "Tell me I'm imagining the way you look at me. Tell me that hour in there was just about pronunciation and nothing else." I can't, because she's right, because every word she said is true, because standing here in the rain with her hand on my cheek, I can't remember a single good reason to walk away. "I can't tell you that," I whisper back. "Then don't." She rises up on her toes, bringing her face closer to mine. "Don't walk away from this. From us." The rain gets heavier. Cars drive by with their headlights cutting through the darkness. Somewhere in the distance, music plays from an open window. But all I can focus on is her. The way she's looking at me like I'm worth taking a risk for. "Tessa," I breathe her name like a prayer. "Yes? I'm going to kiss you now." "Good," she whispers. "I was hoping you would." I cup her face in my hands, feel the softness of her skin, the warmth of her breath on my lips. She closes her eyes and tilts her face up to mine. When our lips meet, it's gentle at first, soft and sweet and careful, like we're both afraid of breaking something precious. But then she sighs against my mouth, and all my careful control melts away. The kiss deepens. Her arms wrap around my neck, pulling me closer. I back her against the cafe wall, shielding her from the rain with my body. She tastes like coffee, and promises, and everything I didn't know I was looking for. When we finally break apart, we're both breathing hard. Her lipstick is smudged. My hair is damp from the rain. But neither of us cares. Wow, she whispers, touching her lips like she can't believe what just happened. Yeah, I agree, resting my forehead against hers. Wow. We stand there holding each other while the rain falls around us, not talking, just breathing the same air and trying to process what just changed between us. So, she says finally, a smile creeping into her voice. What happens now? I kiss her forehead, soft and tender and full of promise. Now, we figure it out as we go. We stay pressed against the cafe wall for a long moment, just looking at each other. The rain creates a curtain around us, making the rest of the world feel far away. Her fingers play with the collar of my shirt, and I can't stop smiling. Your lips are softer than I thought they'd be, she says, tracing them with her thumb. The touch sends warmth spreading through my chest. You thought about my lips, I ask, catching her hand and pressing a kiss to her palm. Maybe, she grins, blushing. Maybe more than I should have during a pronunciation lesson. I laugh, pulling her closer. For the record, I thought about yours too, especially when you were struggling with those Spanish R's. I knew it, she says triumphantly. I could tell by the way you were looking at me, like you wanted to help me practice in a completely different way. The rain starts to slow down, turning from steady drops to a light mist. Other people walk by with umbrellas, heading home from dinner or late meetings, but we stay in our little bubble under the awning. I should probably call you a ride, I say, even though I don't want her to leave yet. Probably, she agrees, but makes no move to get her phone. Instead, she steps closer, running her hands up my chest. But first, I want to make sure you're coming to the charity event on Friday. You want me there? I want you there, she says firmly. I want you to see me win this thing, and I want to celebrate with you afterward. The way she says celebrate makes my pulse quicken. What kind of celebration did you have in mind? The kind where we don't have to worry about professional boundaries anymore, she whispers, rising up to brush her lips against my ear. The kind where I can tell you exactly what I think about your tongue without making you blush. Heat shoots down my spine. Tessa. Too much? She asks, pulling back to look at my face. Not too much, I say honestly. Just enough to make me want Friday to get here faster. She beams at that, like I just gave her the best compliment in the world. Good, because I plan to win that competition, donate the money to the animal shelter, and then take you somewhere quiet where we can practice pronunciation all night long. All night? I raise an eyebrow. I'm a very dedicated student, she says innocently. I believe in thorough practice. I groan, dropping my head to rest against hers. You're going to be the death of me. Only the good kind of death, she promises, kissing the tip of my nose. The kind where you come back to life smiling. A car pulls up to the curb. She checks her phone and sighs. That's my ride. Already? I called it while you were distracted, she admits with a grin. I figured if I didn't, we'd stand here all night, and you'd catch a cold. She's probably right. I would have stayed here until morning if it meant keeping her close. But the responsible part of my brain knows she needs to get home and dry off. Text me when you get home? I ask. Try to stop me, she says, standing on her toes for one more quick kiss. This one tastes like rain, and promises, and the beginning of something beautiful. She runs to the car, laughing as the mist catches her hair. I watch until the taillights disappear around the corner, then start the walk to my own apartment. The rain has mostly stopped now, leaving the streets shiny and clean. I feel lighter somehow, like I've been carrying a weight I didn't know was there. My phone buzzes before I'm even halfway home. Made it home safe, her text says. Still thinking about that kiss. I type back quickly. Which part? All of it. but especially the way you said my name right before. My heart does something funny in my chest. I remember that moment, how her name felt on my lips like it belonged there. Tessa. Just like that, she replies with a heart emoji. Say it again on Friday. I'll say it as many times as you want. Dangerous promise, she texts back. I might want to hear it a lot. Good thing I like being dangerous with you. There's a pause, then her next message makes me stop walking. I keep replaying tonight in my head. The way you looked at me when I said you were good with your tongue. The way you went completely still like I'd cast a spell on you. I lean against a streetlight, grinning at my phone. You did cast a spell on me. I'm still under it. Good. I don't plan on breaking it anytime soon. What if I don't want you to? Then we're going to have a very interesting Friday night, she sends back with a winking face. I reach my building and climb the stairs to my apartment, still texting her. We keep the conversation going for another hour, silly jokes mixed with sweet confessions. She tells me about her favorite coffee order. I tell her about the first time I fell in love with languages. Eventually, she sends a photo. Just her face on her pillow, hair spread out like dark silk, sleepy smile soft in the lamplight. Good night, speech coach. I take a picture back, me in my kitchen, holding a cup of tea, trying not to look as smitten as I feel. Good night, best student I've ever had. Sweet dreams, dream about Friday. I'll dream about you, I type without thinking, then hit send before I can second guess myself. Perfect, comes her reply, because I'll be dreaming about you too, about your voice and your hands, and the way you taste like coffee and possibilities. I set my phone on the nightstand and smile at the ceiling. 3 days until Friday. 3 days until she wins that competition, and we can stop pretending this is just about pronunciation. 3 days until I can kiss her again without any rules standing in our way. Like this video, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. What would you have said if someone whispered that to you? I'd really appreciate it if you could share your thoughts about my videos in the comments. Your feedback helps me improve and create even better content for you. Thank you.